Hey everybody, Dan here with Pain Free You. Gorgeous day. Today I wanted to talk about this question. Are you missing a step in the recovery process? So I'll tell you what that is in a minute. So let's take a nice breath. First time outside today. Breathe in some fresh air. Sunshine is in my face, so my eyes are a little bit squinty today. Breathe in the clarity, exhale the doubt. That's a little bit of a tip for today's topic. So, are you missing this step in the recovery process? So let's talk about what generally happens. We end up with a symptom, whether it be pain or some other illness, gastrointestinal problem, autoimmune problem, reflux, headaches, whatever it may be. And, a lot of us end up going to the doctor, and then we start to get medicalized, and we're told that we're broken in one way or another, or many ways. And then at some point during that process, whether it be a well-educated doctor who doesn't know how to fix you within his model, tells you about it, or a friend does, or you see a book somewhere, or you read an article somewhere, and you stumble on this guy, Dr. John Sarno. And a lot of people go, all right, let me dive into this and see what the heck this is all about. Now, I can't tell you how many people I've spoken to that say, yeah, I read that, and I thought it was BS, so I threw the book away, right? So many people that I've talked to, and so many of the experts even said, oh, that was my first response too. But at some point, you kind of say, all right, this kind of makes sense. I understand the mind-body concept, and I can kind of see that maybe that's what's going on with me. And then the first question they ask is, all right, what do I do to fix myself? And in the mind-body community, there's a lot of what I call fixing activities. So there might be meditation, breath work, journaling, therapy, that type of stuff. Somatic tracking, those kind of things. And so people will say, okay, I got the knowledge. I understand what TMS is, so I'm going to start doing the fixing activities. And I think the key piece that may be missing is to really do the assessments and get super clear that not just, I think this might be what's going on, which allows people to start reading and start doing some of this work, but actually confirming beyond a shadow of a doubt that this is exactly what is going on with me, and making a decision from a thought and a belief standpoint that this is the only thing that's going on. And I talk to people and they're like, Dan, I've been aware of Sarno for years and I understand it all. I don't understand what's going on. And I meditate, I journal, I do all this stuff, and I'm not getting anywhere. I'm like, okay, well, what do you tell me the story about how this all started. And inevitably, I'll hear stories about their bodies and injuries and physical treatments and injections and chiropractic and acupuncture. And inevitably, while they understand Dr. Sarno and his theories and this concept of mind-body pain, and they've started trying to do even some of the practices that are supposedly going to heal you, if you miss this step in doing the formal assessments and getting to the place where you absolutely are certain, clarity, that this mind-body process, what I call perceived danger pain, is the only reason why you've got your pains or other symptoms. Because if you say, I have a physical problem, but this mind-body stuff is involved, here's the challenge. Or let's say you're not really certain, but you're starting to do the work anyway, and you're saying, well, Dan, I don't know. I've done the journaling, I've done the meditation, I've done the breath work, I'm trying to be mindful, I'm trying to resume activity. The problem with that is that if you have not done the assessments and concluded and made a firm decision to accept that this mind-body stuff is the only reason why you're hurting, and therefore that the solution is to teach your brain that you're already okay. If you miss that step, the brain's not likely to turn off the pain, because the brain's going to be saying, well, I don't know, I mean, they're listening to 16 podcasts a day and watching hours of Dan's videos, and they're doing meditations and breath work and mindfulness and somatic tracking and 85 other different practices suggested by 14 different TMS experts. And the brain's going, well, you're spending hours a day on this stuff. But if you truly ask them and say, no, time out. What do you think is causing the pain? Inevitably, some doubt is going to show up. Well, I don't know. I'm like 90% sure that it's TMS, but I've got this niggling doubt. And as long as you're entertaining that doubt and you haven't kind of said, no, I've eliminated that and I'm committing that this is the only thing, and I'm going to be firm with my decision and my beliefs and my thoughts that this is the decision I'm supporting, until you can get to that place of decision and acceptance that TMS, mind, body, perceived danger, pain is really the only thing going on, your brain is going to have that doubt, and doubt delays recovery. Why? Keep in mind, the brain's job is to keep us safe and to keep us alive. So even if it's 90%, I believe, TMS, perceived danger, pain's what's going on, but that little 10% goes, I don't know, that doctor showed me that MRI and that disc really does look kind of wild. If your brain's perceiving that it might be a physical problem, and the brain's job is safety and survival, and you go out walking farther than you have in a long time, your brain, in an effort to keep you safe, might say, I gotta believe that 10%, because if I don't, he might hurt himself or she might hurt herself. And so I'm gonna use the pain as the warning signal to say, hey, go back home. You're gonna overdo it. Here's some pain to warn you that you're about to hurt yourself. That's all that's going on. Doubt creates that perceived danger, because as long as your brain's perceiving that danger, it's not likely to turn off the pain. Why? Because the brain's primary job is safety and survival. It's not going to forget about that job. If you still think your body's the problem, if you still think you have fibromyalgia, bulging, herniated discs, spinal stenosis, spondylolisthesis, any number of medical diagnoses, IBS. Yes, somebody just emailed me about IBS. IBS is TMS, so are migraine headaches. They are TMS, perceived danger, pain. As long as you're walking around using those medical labels and saying, well, I have that, I think that the mind stuff and the fear is involved, but I have this real problem called whatever those medical labels are, the brain's not going to let go of the strategy of protecting you. It's doing its job. It's doing it wonderfully. Unfortunately, it's operating based on misinformation, bad data, and fear. It's our job. It's your job to teach the brain, I'm really not broken. Right? And the step that's missing is between obtaining the knowledge and doing the work, right? The step that's missing is gaining clarity and certainty and acceptance that this is what makes sense. So to that end, there are a couple of assessments. One is the pain test on my website, yourpaintest.com. I also have another page which I am building on painfreeyou.com, painfreeyou.com, under the Get Help menu. There are two options now, but I'm adding one, and I hope to have it done by the time this video posts. But there are two options now. One is one-on-one coaching. The other is the group coaching and video course. But the third option, I believe, is going to be something along the lines of getting started or free assessment, something along those lines. But look for the third option under the Get Help menu. And in there, I will walk you through the couple of different options that you can utilize to determine for certain whether or not what you are experiencing is mind-body pain, perceived danger pain, or what Sarno called TMS. That clarity is really important. So look for that Getting Started link under the Get Help menu at painfreeyou.com. Really important that you do that and get clear, get certain. Don't skip that step, because if you're skipping that step and you're just jumping from, I understand what TMS is, now I'm going to do the work, your brain's probably not going to give up the protection mechanism because it needs to keep you safe. And if you're uncertain if it's really what's going on with you, the brain's probably going to keep doing what it's been doing, which is keeping you safe by using that pain as the warning signal. So don't skip that step. If you're missing that, go to painfreeyou.com, go to the Get Help menu, and there will be an item under there that says free assessments or getting started. So, love you guys and gals. I really wanted to drive this home because I talk to a lot of people who say, Dan, I know everything about Sarno. I read his books years ago and I got better the first time and now here I am. But inevitably, in deeper conversation, some of these folks say, they use terms like injury, wondering whether or not that's when they herniated their disc. And for the lady that I spoke to this morning, please, I'm only using this as an example, not in any way judging, but just it's a great example of how the lack of clarity can kind of keep you in the fear mode, which can keep the symptoms persisting or even getting worse in some cases. So clarity matters. Don't skip that step. Knowledge is wonderful. Knowledge therapy is beautiful, but you got to take the assessments. You got to make a decision to commit to mind-body perceived danger pain as the only reason what's causing the symptoms. And then you can move on to the calm, reassurance, the soothing activities, the indifference that I talk about. There's some gnats out here. Welcome to the warm weather. So, I love you guys and gals. Really just trying to emphasize this. It's so important. Because if you skip this step, you're going to delay recovery. And at some point, somebody like me will go, what do you really think is causing the pain? And if you're still on the fence, that's why you're still on the fence and why you haven't hopped over into recovery. So if you're struggling, let's step back. Accurate knowledge is key, but deciding and gaining clarity that accurate knowledge is what's going on for you, that's foundational. Without that foundation, you've got nothing to stand on, and all the journaling and therapy and meditation and breath work and mindfulness and gently resuming activity, all that stuff's not going to work if you don't have the solid foundation of, I know what TMS mind-body is, and that absolutely, with certainty, is what's going on with me. So, love you guys and gals, and listen to those birds. Beautiful. Love you guys and gals. I'll talk to you tomorrow.